Please describe your job title and primary duties.
My job title was I was just a crew member. There really wasn't anything specific. It was just crew member. Um, Primary duties was I worked in the back making sandwiches on the prep line, and then I also worked with the fryers.
What was the work environment like?
For the most part, the work environment was pretty laid back. I liked it a lot. I usually worked late nights, and so they really weren't concerned about too many rules. As long as you did your job, you were pretty okay.
Was there certain advantages as to working nights as opposed to like afternoons or days or however they set up the schedules at Burger King?
There really weren't really any advantages to nights. I just liked nights better because I was in high school when I worked there, and so I could go to school all day, and then when I got back, around 4 o'clock, I could go in, work the dinner rush, and then work till close. And then on the weekends, I worked the lunch shift instead. But
What was your favorite part about working there?
I'd say that my favorite part about working at Burger King was really just like the atmosphere of the night closing, because I'd get there around 4, say, and then you have that 2-3 hour rush where you're just constantly doing stuff. You're making sandwiches, you're frying stuff, you're serving and throwing it out as fast as you can. But then after that, everything just kind of slowed down, and so you just kind of hang out. And it's kind of weird, but just standing there for hours on end, just making sandwiches, it just gives you time to think. I don't know. I kind of liked it.
Please describe a typical day as an employee.
You go in, you clock in once you get there. You'd work for however many hours you had scheduled. In my case, because I was underage, I always had to work 4 hours and then stop and take 15-minute breaks. And then I could work another 4 hours. And then it was really just kind of wherever they needed you that day, depending on what you did. So if we were really busy, I would be on the line all day. If somebody else was there that was really good at making the sandwiches, then I'd be on the fry station. And so you'd just be frying everything. If you had another person there, you could say get moved back. And then if you really weren't busy, where you just do nothing but wash dishes the whole time, you could be sweeping, mopping, just organizing the back room. So each day was kind of different, but for the most part, you would do the same stuff eventually over and over again.
How would you describe the application and interview process?
The application and interview were pretty straightforward. They were really easy. The application is really just basic, name, address, that kind of stuff, what kind of activities you were involved with. And so after I had turned that in, I got a call back maybe 2 weeks later, and I was expecting an actual formal kind of interview thing. And they were actually just calling back to say, you have the job, now we just need you to fill out tax papers. And so I actually really didn't have much of an interview. It was more that they called me in, and then I just had to fill out the tax papers, and then hand it back in and get my work schedule for when I could start.
Was it an online situation, or did you go into the location?
I had to go into the store.
What should an applicant wear to the job interview?
When I went, because I was expecting a formal interview, I actually wore khakis and a dress shirt. Another guy who came in with me, we went to high school together, he came in with jeans and a t-shirt on. And so I would say, real casual is okay for there. You just wear jeans, and as long as don't look grungy or anything like that, I'd say you're good.
What questions did the interviewer ask during the job interview?
Most of the questions were about when you were able to work, your availability. They were concerned with how school would interfere with the hours that I could work. And so if there were certain days that you couldn't work, that was their big focus that they worried about with me, was what kind of days and hours I could work for them.
What other advice would you give to a job seeker looking to get employment?
Be upfront about your hours that you can work. One of the people that worked there said that he could work all the time, and it turns out that he would always have to cancel and call off, and people would always have to fill in for him all the time. But so I would say be upfront and honest about anything that because they want to hire you. Obviously, they called you in, and so they want the truth from you.